And we are recording now. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming to this video. This is, well, my name's Selena, first of all, and over here, I think it's gonna be, this could be pointing the exact wrong way. It looks like it is for me, but I'm pretty sure it's opposite. This over here.
For me too, so I think you're wrong.
What?
You're pointing the opposite direction for me too.
It's opposite on the recording. Like it will be opposite once it like flips this. I don't know. On some side of me, there is my boyfriend, Mason. Mason, he, him pronouns for Mason, she, her pronouns for me. Mason, do you want to say anything about yourself before we get started? It's been a while since I've seen you on my channel.
I mean, I hope everybody remembers me since I'm the star of this channel.
Mason literally said to me, I said something like, oh, because you don't have your own channel, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, I do have my own channel, this one.
What can I say? It was my idea to start it.
You did encourage me greatly. Yes, you did. Anyways, this video is gonna be not my top 10 favorites of the year of 2020, but my boyfriend's top 10 favorites.
Yeah. I'm mooching off her fame since I'm too lazy to start my own channel, because that requires video editing and patience.
Yeah, it does.
Things I know nothing about.
I also forced Mason to tier rank all of his reads this year, and once we figured out that he had a top 10, he was like, so we're gonna do a video about this, right? I didn't do all that just for nothing. And I'm like, okay, no, this is good. This is my idea.
How many books was it in that last tier? Like 6?
You had quite a few that you hated this year.
I hated a lot. There was the like superior tier, then A through F. Then the last one is called This Gave Me a Kidney Infection.
So if you would like to see the books that gave Mason a kidney infection this year, let us know in the comments, and maybe Mason will come back for a sequel. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. I'd be afraid of being so mean to the authors.
Well, spoiler alert, F. Scott Fitzgerald is dead, so. All right, so without further ado, let's get into your top 10, Mason. Wait, should we say the thing about series first?
Yes, we should. So for my books, I actually had more than 10 books in the top tier. But it turns out that if I take out the duplicates of series, that I had exactly 10. So I'm going to be showing my highest ranked books from any series in that top 10. All of the Stormlight books are in my top tier. I'm going to be using my favorite one as the representative.
Now we're going to go in ascending order, right? Yes.
Starting with the bottom, which isn't even really the bottom because it's all so good.
Yes. Okay. So Mason, give us your number 10.
All right. So number 10, it was just super, super cute. It's Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. So this is a very cute book about 2 teenage boys, one of whom knows that he's gay beforehand, and one of whom does not. And it's, a story about them like coming together. And it, like I said about 1,000 times, it's adorable. I've read everything that was posted online, because this series you can find it online as well.
I'll put the link in the description of this video.
Yeah, highly recommend. So as of like 2 weeks ago, I was caught up. I'm not sure if there's been any more updates since, but it deals with some heavy topics. So Selena will put trigger warnings below.
In the comment, that the trigger warnings for any of the books that Mason talks about will be in the pinned comment, and they'll be, so you can, check at your own risk.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like entirely lighthearted, but it's, it feels very real. And that's what I like about it. It feels like something that could actually happen.
What's cool about that series is it's like, you're not like on BookTube, but it's like the whole book internet is like obsessed with that.
As they should be.
Number 9?
So my number 9, also really good. Selena got this for me for Christmas. And it is called The Disasters by N.K. England. This book is about a group of kids who went to this space academy, and upon arrival were all kicked out. And they accidentally get themselves involved in like some space crimes. They're not committing the crimes, but they're suspects. So basically the story just follows them trying to solve some problems that space terrorists are doing. And it's a really fun book. I know that didn't just sound fun right there.
It did.
Hmm?
I thought it sounded really fun.
Well, space terrorists doesn't exactly sound fun. But it's very fun. It's very funny. The characters are really well fleshed out. It is chock full of queer characters too. And, you know, that's why Selena got it for me. And it's just really cool, like story about like a friendship coming together, but also, you know, saving the space.
Since you have loved that book so much, I am so excited to read it.
Literally. Yeah, you should be. I think you'll like it. All right, number 8, Selena also got me for Christmas. And it is quite amazing. So I'm going to intentionally pronounce it wrong because that's what I always do. It's called Everyone's an Aliebn When You're an Aliebn Too, because see, it has like the B in there. It's full of misspellings because it's written by this alien. And speaking of those misspellings, the author's name is actually Johnny Son, but he calls himself Jomny Son in this, which I think is adorable. But basically, this is a graphic novel that follows this alien that is sent to Earth to research humans. And he does a terrible job at finding humans, but it's so cute, and it is sad, it is heartwarming, it is everything. There were points where it made me cry. I think there were points where it made Selena cry. Yeah, so it's full of little life lessons, and like very quotable lines that just resonate deeply within you. So my next book is a contemporary romance novel. I believe that's the first one of those in this stack. If you don't know, that's my favorite genre. So I tend to read a lot of those, but there's a stark lack of them in my top 10. Or yeah, I don't know why. But anyways, it's The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa. So this book, it is heartwarming and also hilarious. As you might be able to tell from the premise, which is this. A woman is getting married, but her fiance leaves her at the altar. And she's understandably quite upset about this. Flash forward a few years, and this woman is being interviewed for a job, and she has to work with the ex-fiance and his brother. And long story short, romantic sparks start flying between our female lead and the brother. So, you know, he's kind of being the worst best man because he's, you know, hooking up with his brother's potential wife from a few years ago. So it's full of fun stuff and, you know, understandably some conflict. But I really liked it. It had well fleshed out characters. It had an interesting plot line. And of course, like I said, the premise is just very enticing to me, at least. And I believe the next one Selena is going to have to show because I don't own a copy of it. Yes, it is Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. So you know Selena, obviously, and I think most of you probably know Udi because he's been on this channel a couple times, or at least mentioned.
A lot of them know him personally.
Yeah, that too. So shout out to Udi, but a dark shout out because I disagree with him fundamentally, because he and Selena both said that this book was worse than Elantris. And let me finish. I did not like Elantris that much. So when Selena and Udi said, I read Elantris first. So when Selena and Udi said, but this is worse than Elantris, I was like, oh no, I don't want to get into that. And then I read it and I'm like, are you two like crazy? I mean, this book is so much better. So anyway.
Can I defend myself really quickly? I know this is your video, but I need to defend myself. Okay, so Elantris, I agree that Warbreaker is like better written, as in like more thrilling, action-packed, easier to get through, because Elantris, the first half of Elantris is painstaking to get through. But Elantris, I just spent so much time in the world because for half of the book, I didn't really want to read it. So I read it over the course of a month, that it started feeling like home. Oh my goodness. I don't know if you're going to hear that, but we had a notification come through. Basically, I love Elantris. I'm so attached to the characters. I thought the ending was spectacular, even if the beginning was lackluster. Warbreaker, I liked all around. And there's a couple there's things that I wish were different about the book, but I still really like this book. Udi, on the other hand, will fight you, and like he really doesn't like Warbreaker.
And we have fought multiple times over this. I will fight him again after he watches this video. But anyway, basic premise, since I haven't gotten to that yet. I'm sure Selena's mentioned it a lot of times on this channel, but you haven't?
Not really, honestly.
All right, then here we go. I will start that conversation. So there's a lot going on, but I'm just going to go with the basics. This girl, who is from this family, has been betrothed to the god king of another area,
also a full princess.
Yeah, well, okay, the full princess is betrothed from a very young age to the god king, who's said to be like this really awful, like tyrannical guy. But her name is Vivenna. Vivenna's father decides to switch out the daughters because he needs Vivenna at home. So her younger sister, Ciri, is sent in her place. So Ciri has not had any training on this. She's completely blindsided. And she is, afraid. Her job is to produce an heir. And, that's quite scary when it's with a scary man. So it's about, Ciri going off to this kingdom to marry this dude, and then Vivenna tries to follow to stop it, to save her sister.
Yeah.
And there's like 1,000 plot lines going on, but that's the one I'm going to say because the others are complicated.
You also the other thing we can say is you get to follow not only Ciri and Vivenna, but you get to follow a couple of the other gods in the kingdom.
Oh, yeah.
And like one of the other gods called Lightsong, and people love Lightsong. He's very fun.
Lightsong is very fun. But anyways, there's this really cool magic system. It's kind of hard to explain, so I'm not going to attempt it. But as with Brandon Sanderson, it's well thought out. And I really like it because I'm a kind of person that gets more attached to characters than plot. And I think the plot is great, but it's also more lighthearted than a lot of Sanderson plots. So that's what I like about it. It has fun characters, and it has like a fast-paced, lighter plot line. So I really enjoyed reading it, and I will again fight Udi to the death over this being better than Elantris, indisputably.
It also it has a really light, fun plot in a lot of ways, but there are some darker moments. So you are gonna get that emotional stress and worry over the characters at times. And the magic system has to do with animating unanimated things and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's quite literally a colorful book. All right. So my next one is a stand-in for a series. I believe it's my first one of the sort. So I read both books in the Check Please graphic novel series by, I'm sorry, can you help me pronounce the name? I always do it wrong.
I believe it's Ngozi Ukazu.
Okay, thank you. I just didn't want to butcher it. But my favorite out of the two was Volume 2, which is what you see here. But Volume 1 is also excellent. It's so fun and lighthearted and cute. I mean, I know I said that about a lot of the books so far, so you can see my taste. But in case you don't know, although I'm sure a lot of you do, since this is a very famous webcomic / graphic novel series, it is about a college hockey team. It follows our main character, Biddy, who is a small little Southern boy who's afraid of getting hit, but is very good at hockey. And then it's basically about him and his teammates and a romance that occurs. So the best way to describe it is gay hockey, and what kind of hockey is better than that? But just the characters are so fun. The main relationship is great. The friendship relationships are great. I really enjoy this. I started reading it when I was in high school, actually, but I never got around to finishing it. So when I spent an excessive amount of money at a bookstore with Selena, I picked up both volumes because I wanted to finally own them because I loved this comic in high school. So anyway, yeah, highly recommend if you haven't already read it. You can find this for free online as well.
I'll link that as well.
So my next book is The Hero of Ages, which is the final book in the Mistborn trilogy, Mistborn Era 1. It was my favorite out of the three. And again, Selena has probably mentioned the series 1,000 times. This one I know for sure she's mentioned 1,000 times, so I'm sure she has other videos she can link you to for more full descriptions. The Mistborn trilogy is based around a magic system involving metals. So basically certain people in the society can ingest metal and then manipulate it to do different things based on which metal it is. And our main character, Vin, is starting in the first book, as to not give any spoilers, pairs up with this gang to pull a heist to make themselves rich. But then it turns into a plot to dismantle the system in place, which is a government run by the Lord Ruler, who is very harsh and causes poor conditions for the ska, which is the non-nobility class, like the everyday workers. So it's basically about them trying to stage a revolution. And it is really good, like really, really good. Hero of Ages, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but the ending was so beautiful. I cried. That's why it's my favorite in the series, because it just brought it together so well. There's a lot more to it than what I said, but again, I can't say any of it because it unravels as you move through the trilogy. So highly recommend. It was the first Sanderson I read after much prompting from Selena and Duty. And it got me hooked. It's the reason I've read much more Sanderson. All right.
Now we're in the top 3.
We are in the top 3. The next one coming up is another Sanderson book from my favorite series of his, which is the Stormlight Archive. My favorite one so far, because it's not fully released yet, is the most recent one, Rhythm of War. And it's just, okay. The reason I love this series is mostly because the characters are amazing. The character work is absolutely stunning. The plot is amazing too. But as I said, I'm a very character driven person. So if a book doesn't have good characters, I'm not going to like it. But Stormlight does amazing stuff with it. So gosh, I don't even know how to say the plot line for Stormlight, but okay.
Because if they're watching this video, they watch my channel and I talk about it every other video, and I give the same.
There's so much happening. I mean, so far there are 4 books out. Each book is 900 to 1,200 pages, something like that.
It's like 1,000. There is no book out that is under 1,000 pages.
Really? I thought Way of Kings might have been.
Way of Kings is 1,001 pages.
Oh, okay. Pardon me. Anyway, very long, and it's going to be part of a 10-book series, which I'm not sure how Sanderson is planning to do. Quite frankly, I'm afraid, because I still have 6 more books of these to read as they come out. I'm also very excited because, I mean, this is just amazing stuff. Once you read the book, at least for me, you just fall in love with the characters and have to know what happens. So I'll see you in 2023 to talk about the next book.
I have a funny anecdote about this series, if I can tell it really quickly. The first ever bookstore we went in, I've actually mentioned this to you before. I was recommending you books that I thought you would like, and this is also the bookstore trip that got Mason into romance, by the way, because he wasn't sure he'd like it. And I had not even read Mistborn yet, but I wanted to read Mistborn, but I didn't know anything about the Cosmere or his other books or anything. And I saw the mass market paperback of Way of Kings, and it was off. It was and I was it was half off or something. And I was like, Mason, I think you might like this. I've heard it's really epic and long. And I knew Mason liked some series like that. And I was and he was like, nah, too much commitment.
Well, okay. I'm also glad I didn't read it then, because I highly recommend starting with other Cosmere books before going to Stormlight. You don't have to, but there is, it gives you so much more background, I guess, and it sets up a lot of stuff that happens in Stormlight. So anyway, that's just my personal recommendation. I know Selena has a whole video on how to read the Cosmere.
Yeah, I'll link that video.
All right, so we're in the top two now. So my second favorite book is also a part of a series, my favorite book, and it's actually the only one that wasn't a reread this year, because I started it in middle school. And for reference, I finished it at the beginning of this year. I'm currently a senior in college, so it's been a while. But anyways, this series is the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. This series, there's no other way to describe it except extremely like messed up. Like it is so like full of, like, it weaves together so many genres and so many plot lines, and it sounds daunting, but I swear it's amazing. The character work is stunning. Once you meet these characters, at least for me, I fell in love like immediately, and I wanted to see like where it went. The plot line is convoluted, but it makes sense as you're reading it, sort of. No, it's really good. A lot of people say that these books are hard to read and that they're not Stephen King's best work because there's sort of like a lot of plot holes and inconsistencies. I say I don't care. Like this series, like, it is absolutely epic. It is like, it tugs on the heartstrings at a lot of times. You're so invested in it. So I personally think that this is Stephen King's masterwork, and sometimes so does he.
Sometimes, only sometimes.
Yeah, no, only sometimes. He goes back and forth from what I know. But yeah, no, highly recommend. It is a 7-book series with an additional novella. And it seems, overwhelming at first. And I will warn you, if you read the first book, The Gunslinger, that one's the worst one in the series. Like, it's a little bit slow. It's, I think, 200 pages, so it's short. Just get through it, because the next book, The Drawing of the Three, is when it really picks up, and it just doesn't stop from there. So anyway, if you want to join our old friend, the Gunslinger / Roland, on his journey, pick up this series. All right, we're at the last one. Like I said, my genre is contemporary romance. I know I've had a lot of fantasy in here, like a lot, but if I had to choose, it would come down to contemporary romance. So I call this my second favorite book of all time, and Selena actually did a partial series on it, which I was not able to talk about because I hurt my back like an old man. So we're going to talk about it now.
Yeah, we're making up for you not being able to have like a whole discussion on it.
It is Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. So if you've read Red, White, and Royal Blue, this feels like it's me. It has a different vibe, like a very different vibe, but the wittiness of it, like every sentence has potential for laughing out loud, sort of like Red, White, and Royal Blue. Also similarly, the main character is a mess, way more messy than Alex, but our main character, Luke, is having some problems at his job because he is a party animal, and he's setting a bad image for the company. And he's also setting a bad image for himself and doesn't like that. And he wants to be more respected. So he does what any reasonable person would do and gets a fake boyfriend. And that would be Oliver. Somebody who's a steady presence, who's going to make him look less adventurous and promiscuous. So this is also not as strongly as some books, but it's a little bit enemies to lovers too. It's got both that and fake dating, because they don't like each other. Like, they actually think the other one is insufferable. At first, they get closer, as one might do with a fake boyfriend, and they, spoiler alert, have some feelings spark up. But yeah, the cast of characters, again, like Red, White, and Royal Blue, we have a strong cast of like side characters who like boost up the main ones and are like, they're very funny. And again, that's what this book is. It's cute, it's funny, and it's, I don't know how else to describe it. It's really good.
I had mixed feelings personally, but even I will say, like, Luke's journey through the book is probably one of the best I've seen it done. Like his journey from like such a mess to like in a more stable place. And like just like respecting himself a little more is a really nice and like emotional journey. I was really affected by it.
Yeah. It's really good storytelling, really good characters. I obviously enjoyed it more than Selena since it's my second favorite book of all time. It's like the epitome of fake dating for me. This is what fake dating should be. That was my final top 10 book, number 1. And yeah, I was really excited to come on and do this because I wanted to get the word out there about a lot of these. Not that Selena hasn't gotten the word out there about Sanderson for this entire time, but she doesn't read as much romance and such as me. So I need to entertain your audience with the better genre.
And I'm sure I have people who watch me that love romance, and like,
as you should.
Please show off your rainbow stacks right now.
Oh, yeah, no. So this is my queer book stack, which unfortunately is not as good of a rainbow as this one, which is my contemporary romance stack. I have quite a few. There's a YA or a few YAs in there too, but Selena was helping me organize my book nook back here, and she was like, I want to do everything, and I'm like, no. And she's like, why not? Because I have an idea for this one, I said. And she was grumbling about it, and I put her like face down on FaceTime so she couldn't see what I was doing. And then I showed her after, and she reluctantly admitted that it was a good idea.
Thank you for watching this video. These are the 10 books that Mason loved, right, Mason?
Yes, hurry up your outro. This hurts.
And thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. And hopefully Mason will come back in the channel soon.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Bye.
Bye.
I'm gonna do something cute. Put your hand like to the side, do a heart. But like no, to the side of it, like no, like you need to do the heart thing, and then you need to put it like on your to the side so that they'll be together. Can you not do a heart? Oh, you have such a small heart. We'll try.